Expanding a bit on the Jacksonville playbook, we're going to go over what I think is the best route from the backfield in the entire game. Other than wheel routes, it's kind of difficult to get the running back involved in the pass game to the point that most people just leave him into block to buy more time for the downfield routes to develop. But the route shown here in gun tray open inside seam in, again, the Jacksonville Jaguars playbook is particularly great because it has multiple ways of throwing it, which makes it, virtually unguardable. It's not super common, but you'll find it in a lot of the trips formations like this. There's another play in this formation that has it, and then even the gun wide trips in the same playbook has it also. But it's really useful, and it really helps to open up the backside of these trips formations where now the user has to take more account into the weak side of the formation and not just hang in the strong side. So let's break down the best backfield route in the game against a variety of different coverages. So right away, what I consider this route to be essentially a better halfback option route, where not only is the route better in terms of where the cuts are made, but also you don't have to deal with the glitchy and unexpected option decisions, which I might make a video on at some point in the near future. But otherwise, you can see here that there's multiple ways that you can throw this route. So against zone coverage, you can throw it as your running back is vertical, kind of between the flat defender and the hook defender. So you could think of that as the sit option in a halfback option route. Or you can wait a little bit and hit it underneath as he's breaking towards the sideline against most zone coverages, and then that's when you're going to want to throw it against man coverage. And actually, man coverage, we also have multiple options based off of that. So we're going to show you against every single type of coverage, and then even some possible combinations that you want to go against. Personnel isn't super important. I would say catching, you want some sort of decent catching out of your running back. At this point, let's say Ultimate Team, most of these guys are going to have it. Kamara here has the ability, which makes it even better, but I don't think you need it as well. And then just on the weak side here in the wide receiver, you're going to be wanting him to run this hook that's in this stock play, or sometimes it's better just to run a comeback route, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. But just here in this example against just the stock cover 4 drop show 2, which I'm not going to show cover 3, I'm going to consider them to be the same in this case. We can see I can throw it now, and we'll get into that later, or I can throw it as he's underneath here, and I get 7 easy yards. And as I was saying, we can still throw that halfback route between those zones as he finds that soft spot. So just kind of at this point, inside pass lead, and I can possession catch that for 9 yards. So right away, when you're coming up against these zone coverages, usually the user defender is on the strong side over here. And so, usually your best route combination is on that side, but the user defender is there to try to break things up. So now with this route, you're going to have a really, really good option to the weak side that doesn't take too long to develop, that might force your opponent to maybe user the weak side hook. And then in that case, if you have identifier, which I really, really suggest, then you can consider working towards the strong side option. So this is really going to be important for you in terms of working where that user is. Now, if they were to, say, go into cloud flats, well, this works actually even a little bit better. So we can throw it in this sweet spot here, or again, we can just work this here, turn that upfield, and get 9 to 10 yards really, really easily. Now, what happens if they do hard flats? So hard flats down here, we obviously can't hit the out route portion of this, but again, we can hit that sweet spot in the zone, possession catch that, get our 8 yards. Or because we have this curl above here, we can just go ahead and throw that curl and get 15 yards that way. So right away, they can't really run hard flats for their underneath defender because we can just hit that curl or that possible comeback all day long for easy gains. So they're always going to need this curl flat or a cloud flat or something like that to protect against that. And then we know if they do that, we can hit them underneath with the slot option, the pseudo slot option in a number of ways. Then if they keep their user over here and then try to maybe get one of these other defenders involved, say if they're putting in this hard flat, well, then we know we can just simply read the leverage of the coverage, and if we see that, we can just throw that inside, right? So we can see that right here and just throw that inside, toe tap that, and get our extra 6, 7, 8 yards. Or if they're running man coverage over here, and these are things that you probably won't see too often, but if you're running this a lot, then you might start to see these over adjustments. So if we see man coverage here, well, man coverage, we can hit this on the breakout here. Sometimes it gets a little bit glitchy, but just like that, we're able to get 10 yards against essentially double coverage. So then what about against cover 2? So you have the vertical hook over here that's going to do actually a little bit better of a job defending against that sit option where you can't throw that inside. And then you got the cloud flat over here that's ready to defend against the flat. Luckily, although the sit option, the first option is taken by the vertical hook, once he clears that, we're going to be able to get easy 10 yards underneath that cloud flat every single time. And then what if they are doing Tampa 2 again, cover 2, but with hard flatted corners? Well, then in this case, we can't throw that sit route really because that vertical hook gets in a really good position. We can't throw the out portion of it because the hard flat is there, but we know, of course, the curl is going to be here, and we can throw that for 15 easy yards. And then similar to what we're essentially showing in cover 4 and cover 3, we could take this linebacker, we can man him up over here, keep that cloud flat over there to defend against the curl, but again, this route is always going to beat man coverage here, and again, we're getting 10 really easy yards. So you can see right away how this is going to be really annoying for your opponent to deal with, to the point that even with some of these, reasonable adjustments, you cannot defend this, especially if you get good at it and start being able to understand the leverage of these defenders and when to throw that route early inside, early low outside, and then possibly to that curl route on the backside. It's really unstoppable two-man route combination, to the point that they will have to consider coming over here, using these guys, in which case the strong side is only just going to open up that much more. So from there, this play in particular isn't great, but there are other plays that this route is in. But even still, I have those videos on beating these coverages with just simple hot routes. So again, we can put in some really nice route combinations on the strong side that are going to work against most of these coverages, cover 2, cover 4, 3, whatever, and you're going to be golden in that way. And then let's just end it with simple, straight up man-to-man coverage with no underneath zones. As I showed you a couple times already, this route is always going to beat his man to the outside. In some cases, he'll bump into him and get a little bit, bugged out a little bit, but he is still going to win. It's just going to take a little bit of a delay. So I wouldn't throw it necessarily right at the break. I would wait till you see him clear. In this case, he cleared anyway, so I could take that, turn that upfield, 10-10, easy yards. And then with man coverage, you can actually throw it inside as well. So I can read the man coverage here, and as he's turning upfield, I can throw that with an inside pass lead and go up the field there as well. So that's a really good option as well. And then just to wrap it up, we'll show you against this heavy man pressure stuff where the user linebacker, user safety, whatever, who's usually manned up on the running back and usually not considering to cover him because usually you have to keep him in to block. But in this case, the route is so good that you can just quickly throw that as a hot route and turn that upfield. So, 5-man pass protection here against 6-man blitz, and then a user mugged user linebacker in the A gap or B gap, whatever. I'll just spy him here just to show you somebody that's more concerned with getting the blitz in than the running back, because if I put a running back on a swing or something like that, it's such a bad route that the other defenders can get off their men and come down and rally on the tackle. But this is a really good route, so you can throw that immediately out just like that and turn that upfield, potentially get a big game from that. So now Breeze and Kamara are in the zone because just throwing this route a few times, really good option, and I hope you can get in the zone too, but I'll throw in this. I hope you can find it in your own playbook. If you can't, Jags definitely has a few. I showed you in the last video a really good play that's in the same formation, so you can kind of go between the two where, if the user is over on this side, we can look towards the right on the right side. If he's over here, we can use this concept as well. So you have a lot of options just out of 2 plays already, and then hopefully we can dive into a few more of the sets in this formation, or this playbook, sorry, because there's a lot of good stuff. Okay, I hope you guys like that. I hope you start to use this in your own game plan. Hope you start to pick apart some of these really good full spot drop zone defenses or all out max blitz defenses, because this is going to be really great for you. Okay, hope you guys like that, and we'll see you guys in the next one.